So I was using this for its intended purpose. I was delimbing a tree, and I took a swing sort of just into what I was pretty sure was just going to be branches, green matter. And for some inexplicable reason, probably been there for 20 years, there was an old rusted chain just amongst the tree. Someone at some point had gone, "Nah, I'll deal with this." And so this axe took about, every centimeter there is a little chunk taken out of the edge. So we're going to fix that today. Let's have a look. So you can see there, particularly a little bit there, and then some just rough notching down there. That's pretty fucked. It is definitely no longer a paper shaving Gransfors bricks. That's for sure. Alrighty, what do we do? How should we do this? Should we go hand or should we go powered? I think more likely people are going to want to see hand. Let's do that. Alrighty, so let's see if I can make a dent in it using my DMT diaphil. This is my favorite hand stone. It just seems to get good results on most things I've used it on. So we'll give this a try first, and I might need to move to something a bit more severe. If not, just going to cradle the axe. I'm just going to eyeball this. As I always say with axes, just do it. You can't ruin it unless you go perpendicular and purposefully grind the edge off more. You really can't do any mistakes you're not going to be able to undo. So just chill and start off easy, try and look for light spots, and then go from there and gradually get closer and braver and repeat what's working and disregard what's not. It's really not that bad. So as you can probably notice, I'm just letting the stone pretty much rock a little bit and go over in a convex style grind, because that is what the axe grind is. And all I'm after is an axe that works again. Remember, it's not about, I don't care particularly for having insanely sharpened Instagram edges on the axes. Just needs to go back to working, please. So I'm just sort of flopping my wrist. Sometimes I'm lifting up, pulling my hand up just with my index finger, just a bit of a bounce. Important part is the stone is going over that edge, knocking off, wearing away that nasty chipping. So it actually looks like it's going all right so far. When you want to, if you want to make sure it doesn't get too chunky behind the edge, you can spend some time not even near the edge, just hanging back a little tiny bit. And you can do some, edge support on the meat immediately behind it. Thin that out a bit as well, if you like. Alright, so let's have a look at how it looks from just sharpening one side. We should be able to see some of that damage going already. So as you can see here, still a little bit of chipping present, but I'm definitely making some progress. It's much less dramatic. Remember, axes are by design pretty soft. It's probably about 56 Rockwell or something, an axe like this. Not a bad thing, it's fine. It doesn't mean it's bad steel, it's just exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to hit the odd really knotty bit of wood, or even an old, people used to hammer lead bullets into trees to kill them before they'd cut them down, all sorts of odd stuff. And axes are designed to sort of not be ruined by coming across any of that weird shit. So I'm going to swap over and do the other side. Still just using the more coarse red side and see how we go. So do I look like someone who is doing like some geometrical, time-tested heirloom family secret technique? Of course not. I'm very basically making sure my stone goes over the edge of that axe to bring the damage down and to bring it back to an even edge. That's it. It's really not too bad. Just important thing is just to do it. Just do it without, there is no try. Just do it. Alrighty, so I'm pretty sure that most of that damage is now basically gone, and it's more just a bit of a burr that's looking rough on the edge there. Let's have a closer look. So you see, yep, that's just more of a burr. That I can catch my fingernail on that there. Still a slight chip there. That must have been the deepest one, but although maybe that burr will just come down to that. We will see. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing, swap over a couple of times, and I guarantee you will get there, and it will not be an ordeal, I promise. So I'm going to just put the axe on its back, and I'm going to attack it from above on either side. To my naked eye, that is looking good, and it actually feels rather sharp. But we're going to move on to the green side, and we're going to do about the same thing again, just a bit finer like. Swappy over. That is looking pretty nice. Consistent sharp edge all over, no bumps, no hiccups, will cut wood. So there we go, finished product. As you can see, there is no hiccups, chips, anything in there. Oh, maybe a small one there. I could go a little bit deeper maybe and get that out, but let's just see something. So there you go, look, a bit of a buff on a strop. Just make it yourself, bit of leather on a bit of wood, pull that away from the edge, Just knocks off any burr. Remember, you're not trying to burr some S110V super steel, you're just trying to deburr some pretty mid-carbon, good axe steel, but it's still soft. Like, my main point here is don't let the price or like the prestige or seeing bloody Wrangler Star, slicing tissue paper with his axes every week, don't make that seem like the benchmark, because it's not. Like, an axe just needs to go confidently through wood, which is a semi-firm or a very firm material. And it's going to do that with even a pretty rudimentary edge. But this is what it's got now, and now it is, again, a quite nice edge. It's not going to slice paper like a bloody knife. Of course not. Let's have a look. Oh, it's all right, but like, it's not... I got this knife today, or this... Apparently it's a machete, but it feels more like a knife to me, just a big knife. So this is... it's not going to do that, right? Nor should it, because it's a chunky convex edge that's supposed to be somewhat chunky and resilient. You can get them to that point, you can, and they're fine, and it's not bad if they are. But yeah, I used to sit and agonize over, I'm going to do it myself, I'll make it uneven, and it's like, yeah, this probably is slightly uneven, but isn't it better to have your axe actually in a ready to go way, rather than just sitting and stressing about which video tutorial you're gonna watch. So this has probably been the worst video tutorial ever, but I got the axe sharp. I took a lot of damage away from it. And how could you be unhappy at having like a $20 tool and a free thing be all you really need to keep your axe in a good working condition? So I remember my first popular video was of the Gransfors American Forest Axe. And I had a very small channel at that point, maybe a couple of hundred subscribers, and this video got almost 10,000. And that would be like today if I got a video that did 1 million, like in a couple of months, you'd be pretty psyched, right? I'd gone to a fair and bought the axe for like 300 Australian dollars or something. Not too bad for a big chunk of axe that it is. And yeah, I just had a tree that had fallen down, so I chopped into it for a bit. And doing that and seeing that's what got me success. Before then, I'd been just tabletop. And so I thought, well, people must like visual, demonstrations of use. Not that I'm particularly good at this stuff. I think it was enough to show me that, oh yeah, editing helps. About 4 or 5 months after the Gransfors video, I took all these hatchets out, spending every paycheck I'd get a new axe. I took all these hatchets out into the bush, and I was doing like a comparison type video, and I forgot to show the top of the tree was cloven off. The tree was going to die. Because I didn't show that, and because as I chopped into the tree, the wood looked pretty nice, people thought I was cutting down like a nice new tree or killing a tree. And you would think that the people would have more things to be upset about, but on the internet, when there's a pile-on, there is a pile-on, and holy shit. This was back when my channel was so small, you get an email every time you got a comment. And so I'd be checking my emails, and you see the preview text, so-and-so's commented on a video. First few lines are like, "You stupid bastard, I can't," and you just be like, don't think I'll explore that one further, because people were savage. It was a very interesting experience. I think I ended up just hiding or deleting the video entirely. So if you're after a bit of a comparison, I suppose, this is probably, as in the small forest axe, the one to just get. The curved bit definitely bites in a lot easier. I mean, I'm using it against dead wood for the purpose of firewood processing, waste removal type thing, but that'll hold true for any sort of cutting task. The curved blade here is going to need a touch more precision, but it's going to cut in a lot deeper. It's going to require maybe 2 or 3 less cuts on 1.5 inch width wood to get through it. So overall, if you're after just one good safe axe, then this is the one to get. The squared off face of the Carpenter's axe for those sorts of tasks just needs a little bit more work. It just disperses the force a little bit further along. It does have a slight curve to it, but it's definitely not the precision sort of piece that the small forest axe head is. That being said, it's a carpenter's tool. It's called the Carpenter's axe. So it's going to be better at hewing apart like pre-made, man-made cuts of wood, like 2x4s and things like that. If you're making sort of like rough-hewn woodcraft and things like that, or if you're starting a carving project, maybe this is the one that you want. It's going to perform just fine as a garden axe as well, no problems at all, but the small forest axe is going to perform just a little bit better. That being said, I prefer this handle for sure. I don't know why, but I just find it slightly wider, just fits my hand slightly better. I like sort of the flanged end just fine. It feels just more like using a hammer, which is probably just my lack of sophistication as an axe user showing through, rather than it being objectively better. But those are my little quick thoughts. I'm not particularly good at axe reviewing, but they're all really high quality axes, the Gransfors. And realistically speaking, I think $200 for a really nicely made axe or hatchet is actually not too bad these days. I think I was $219 all up with shipping from an Australian Gransfors dealer. So yeah, that's not too bad. I'm fairly happy with it. It's nice to have a couple of little handy axes around the block. So you can have one in the tool shed and one in the proper garage. So there you go. And yeah, overall, as I've sort of used axes, I basically stopped making axe videos as I started working out what kind of channel I like and what kind of channel I want to be. Making axe videos to a certain point, now I don't particularly care at all what the people are going to say, but back when I really sort of did fuss over like what people were thinking of me, the axe crowd is incredibly difficult to get on the sunny side of. like really intense axe people that I think I ended up making a video, a parody video of it a while back, which I haven't watched for ages. I wonder if that's still funny. But yeah, axe people are very hard to please and very vocal. It's like Uncle Randy's, but like with a much higher rate in the population than just a knife video. Axe people are all about like how you're using it, how you're standing, if you're using it dangerously, if you're swinging it wrong, if it's too sharp, if it's too dull. There is lots of Dudley do-rights, and basically from about 2015 or 16 onwards, I haven't really touched axes at all. Not in terms of, I've been using them obviously, but just in terms of making videos, I've stood way back. But as I said, now I don't particularly care, so here we are. People probably not gonna love how they saw me sharpen this one at the start of the video, but you know what? It works, and that's sort of the corner I've turned. If it works with your axes, just use them there. You know, people have been using axes for 1,000,000 years, and they, you know, for 200,000 years pretty much, and haven't ever gone too far wrong just making it up as they go. Just don't cut your dick off.